is more than just physical hitting. It's more than sexually manipulating or taking advantage of. And it's more than emotional. Abuse is lifetime. Abuse literally is a traumatic experience, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally. It is a traumatic experience that you carry with you into your adulthood. That, however, does not mean that you cannot change the outcome. Meaning, as a child, you may not have been able to fight whatever abuser was abusing you in whatever form that abuse may have come. But what that does mean is that you now, as an adult, as a person no longer under the influence, under that same childhood upbringing, you have the power. You decide now. You decide when you no longer allow that upbringing, that abuse, whatever it may have been, dictate your life anymore. And when we talk about childhood upbringing, I think it's very, very important to realize and understand that there comes a time when you are a victim, where you truly are a victim of the circumstances. And then it comes a time where, although you were a victim, do you see the difference? Being a victim and a person that was a victim, it doesn't change or negate the fact that you were a victim. Nobody, again, and let me be very clear, we here at Living for More, we do not negate, we do not downplay, we do not take away the fact or impede on anyone's emotions when it comes to any type of abuse or traumatic experience that you have personally been through. That's not our stance, okay? That's not our place. What is our place is helping to release and let go of any self-doubt or self-limiting belief. And a childhood upbringing, if it was in a negative scope that left negative scars, that plays on how you view yourself. And so it's our place and it's our stance to help you realize that, yes, you were a victim. Yes, you may have had someone that hurt you physically or mentally. Yes, you may have told someone who told you that you were not going to amount to anything. Yes, you may have been in a circumstance where no one expected you to succeed. And so that played over into your thoughts. But today is the day that you can decide. You can pick a side and decide whether to continue to be a victim or to fight and say, I was a victim. Another common cause of self-doubt is comparison to others. This is really important, especially in our society here. We are bombarded, just completely overwhelmed and bombarded with all types of media, whether it is written, video, music, magazine, book, art, whatever way you want to see it, it is there to compare ourselves. We're never good enough. We're never at that ideal weight. We're never smart enough. We never are rich enough. We never are accomplished enough. You know, so many different things to compare ourselves to. No wonder it drives us crazy. No wonder we're full of self-doubt. However, comparing yourself to someone else is literally like walking into a pit of vipers. You cannot be anything other than who you are. You weren't put on this earth to be anything other than who you are. Now, you can always push yourself to be a better version of yourself. But you can never be a better version of anyone else because that's not who you are. That's not what makes you you. See, even though we don't like them, and even though some of it may have been bad, our mistakes, our experiences, our upbringing, everything that we just talked about, all that is encompassed into making us who we are. And so there will never be two people who will always be the same. So to continuously compare yourself to another person is outright setting yourself up for failure. It sets us up to lose. Even if we're comparing ourselves to people who grew up in our household, you can grow up in the same household with someone, your siblings, whomever, and you guys experience the same exact thing, but your perceptions are going to be completely different. And so even to try to compare yourself to someone who you've grown up with, to someone who has been around your whole life, that's still setting you up for failure. You're not them, and they are not you. The only person that you should ever, all of us should ever be in competition with, the only person that we should ever compare ourselves to is to ourselves. Am I who I want to be? If I am not who I want to be, how do I push myself to be better, to get where I want to be? That's it. Because you can never be anyone else. You can never feel, you can never think, you can never have the same experience as someone else. And again, they can't do the same with you. So let's stop setting ourselves up for failure when we're trying to be and do and have the same outcome and live the same life as the next person. That what's for them is for them, and what's for you is for you. That's why the only thing we have to focus on, that you must focus on, is you. That's why living for more is not even focused on the self-limiting doubts that others place on us. People are going to always have self-limiting doubts. People are going to always tell you what you can and you can't do. You know why? Because that's what they feel about themselves. People will always try to push onto you what they feel about themselves. That's why you have to know you. That's why you have to compare yourself only to you. That's why you have to check the limiting beliefs that you place on yourself. We're not worried about what the next person thinks because they're entitled to their opinion. If you think I can't, well, then that's your thought. It only becomes a problem when I think I can't. Because whatever you think you can do, you're right. Whatever you think you can be, you're absolutely right. The same applies to whatever you think you can't be. You're right. Whoever you think you cannot be in your greatest self, you're correct as well. It doesn't matter the opinions of what other people think about you. It doesn't matter the limiting beliefs of what others think about you. People say all the time what you can and can't do. They look at your experiences because they base it off them. We live in the same neighborhood. We grew up the same place. We went to the same school. Our families are alike. And this was my outcome. So that has to be your outcome as well. The only time that becomes your outcome is when you believe that that's going to be your outcome. So stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop trying to fit and do and fit the mold and follow the same step as everybody else, thinking that you're going to get the same result, because you're not. We're fighting ourselves. Our greatest opponent is not other people. It's ourselves. And so if the greatest fight is within ourselves, then the only person that I'm going to fight and compete with is myself. Okay? Another common cause of self-limiting belief or self-doubt is the rise of new challenges. I know that I can speak on this quite personally. I went into depth in our last episode about the challenges that I faced when I relocated to a new area, closed my business and all of that. And when I faced those challenges, it really made me doubt myself. I really started thinking that I wasn't who I thought I was, that I didn't have the skills, that I didn't have the knowledge, that I didn't have the tenacity, that I didn't have the willpower, that I just didn't have everything that I thought that I had. Everything that I thought that I was made of, I completely and utterly doubted. I just shut down. When we face a challenge is just that. It's not easy. If it were easy, it wouldn't be a challenge. And I know that sounds simple, and I know it sounds like, okay, Ashley, that's real renowned. But let's be honest. We do not like things that are hard. Our bodies, our mental was not framed for challenges. We like consistency. We like things that come easy. And if it comes different or if it's challenging, we run from it. Fight or flight, right? But the problem with that is that if you always are running from a challenge, you never allow yourself to prove to yourself that you can rise above the challenge. All you ever do is prove to yourself that the challenge is greater than you. That the challenge is stronger than you. It's more powerful, that it dictates your life. That's not the case. It is the case if you allow it to be. You see how I'm constantly saying if you allow to be, if that's what you choose, if that's what you feel. All of these common causes of self-doubt, the self-doubt only has room to linger and fester if you fall victim to the belief of it. If you believe that you are stronger than any challenge that you face, then guess what? You're going to project that. You're going to live your life. You're going to fight. You're going to move. You're going to strategize. Everything you're going to do is to prove that you are stronger and tougher than any challenge that comes your way. That doesn't mean you won't face hard times. That doesn't mean you won't face trials. On the contrary, you're actually prepared. You're actually setting yourself up, and your thinking and your thoughts and everything about you, your actions, is literally preparing you just for that, to say, hey, you know what? I know a challenge is going to come. So let me be ready. It's like that bully, right? That bully that always wants you to meet them after school at 3:00. You can either run from it, and they're going to keep telling you, hey, meet me after 3:00. So you running around scared, hiding behind people, taking a long way home. Or you can say, I've had enough. 3 o'clock it is, I'll see you at 3 o'clock. And then you face that challenge. That doesn't mean that life won't knock you down, that you won't get knocked down. Of course. That's life. That's everyday living. But choosing to not ride